The last of the Doolittle Raiders passed away in a military hospital in Texas this week. Richard Cole was one of the volunteers who flew a desperate mission to bomb Japan in April 1942, just months after the Pearl Harbor attacks. Cole was Colonel Jimmy Doolittle's co-pilot. They carried out their mission and then crash-landed in China, eventually managing to get back to the United States. Cole stayed active in his later years, taking part in events like the raid's 75th anniversary in 2017. He was 103 years old. Lieutenant General retired Jerry Boykin joins us now with more on Cole and Doolittle's Raiders. General Boykin, an end of an era with the passing of Richard Cole, right? General Boykin, can you hear me?
I hear you.
It's a real passing of an era with his death.
Oh, indeed it is. You know, there's so much history that died with him.
Can you remind us of the mission that Doolittle and his men faced?
Yeah, 12th of April, the 18th of April, 1942, they took 16 B-25 bombers and bombed Tokyo and the surrounding area. Knowing that they couldn't get back to the carrier they took off from, 15 of the 16 planes landed in China, one landed in Russia, and 4 of the crew were killed. What was incredible about the whole thing is that they didn't know, first of all, if they were even going to be able to take off from a carrier, the USS Hornet. That was untried. Secondly, they knew they could not return to that carrier and that they were going to have to make landings in China, which they didn't know what to expect when they got to China. And in fact, Dan Cole himself was with Doolittle. He was the co-pilot with Doolittle, and they started to land on a Chinese air runway that turned the lights off because they thought they were actually Japanese planes. So, but then the other thing is that he then went to India and flew with the Flying Tigers, flying the hump or flying over the Himalayas, bringing aid to not only Chiang Kai-shek, but the American forces there in the jungles of Burma. So this guy had an incredible career that you won't find anything else like this guy.
Yourself having gone on many a dangerous mission, what is your reaction to what these men did back on April 18th, 1942?
Well, first of all, keep in mind that the Japanese were absolutely convinced that they were invulnerable, that nobody was going to be able to bomb them from the United States. Well, this proved them wrong, and they had assured the Japanese people that was the case. Well, this proved them wrong. It proved that they absolutely were vulnerable. It was a great psychological win, not only for the United States military, but for America as a whole, because we struck a blow right at the heart of Japan. And strategically, what that did is it forced the Japanese then to attack Midway Island. And we had the famous naval battle, the Battle of Midway. As a result of this attack on Tokyo, they wanted to strike back quickly and decisively. Well, what happened was they got defeated. We sunk their carriers. And that was essentially the demise of the Japanese Navy. And it all started with this raid that he was a part of.
General, how did their actions change the course of history and America as we know it?
Yeah, well, obviously it set the stage for the outcome of World War II, at least in the Pacific. It set the stage because, once again, it was the first of many bombing raids into Japan once it was proven that we could do it. And it ultimately terminated in the dropping of 2 atomic bombs on Hiroshima and Nagasaki. And ultimately resulted in Japan being a very robust, progressive nation with a constitution, very much like the Constitution of the United States, and being strong American allies. But Doolittle and his people, including this very brave man that just died, they set the stage for that.
Yeah, well, General Boykin, as always, an honor to have you join us. Thank you so much.
Thank you.